Holla ballers, what's going on? It's Preacher, and it's time to break out the big guns. Let's do it. Ever since I told you guys that, yeah, I was planning on raiding again inside Warlords of Draenor, it didn't come as much of a shock to people that the Death Knight was, in fact, extremely high up the list. Not only have I had huge success with it in the past, gaining rank 1s and whatever, but, yeah, there's a lot of things about this class that turn me the fuck on, basically. It's one of those classes that I always encourage people to try. I truly believe, in my heart of hearts, having played this game for so long and played all these different classes, is this is the most well-designed, the most well-rounded, and frankly, there's not going to be a class like this for a long time, I wouldn't expect, that really hits and ticks all the fucking boxes. Because it really does. It shits on the monk. I know people are going... Remember, this is my opinion, guys, but this, for me, absolutely shits on monks in terms of gameplay, design. It's so hard to come by a class that just has an answer for every fucking question. You got a question for it? Answers. Question. Situation. Answers. And by that, I mean in terms of it's just general gameplay. So many times there are classes that have such huge benefits. They have such enormous things going for them that it's difficult to say that, you know, oh, that's a bad class. But then the Death Knight just says, yeah, but I'm not constrained by situational environments like you are. We can look at a Moonkid here and say, Moonkids, you know, are capable of some extreme AoE. Sure they are. Given the right circumstances and the right eclipse and the preparation that goes into it. Not a problem that a DK ever suffers from. Classes that have super amazing single target DPS, providing they can stand still and get things going and the procs line up. DKs just never have that problem. They've got such a smooth, consistent gameplay, regardless of if you're playing Frost or Unholy. In fact, if I was to come down to anything and say, you know what, it does kind of bother me a little bit, it would just be Soul Reaper. I find Soul Reaper just that little bit clunky. But it's not really clunky. It's not like Ret Paladin clunky or anything like that. It's just a little bit clunky. We're going to get a Ninja Pull here. I can just guarantee it. Yep, there it goes. I saw the tank in the distance over here. I was like, you're not letting me set up an army, are you? I could just guarantee it. There is a subtle art to the DK that's really... It really makes it into a class of its own. And when that happens, you can't help but really see the potential that's coming from this. That swirl is pretty close. I'm just going to move myself over here if you don't mind. I don't want to walk into a swirl. That would be a really bad day for everybody and all concerned. There's dimensions to the spec that take a hell of a long time to really master. And once you do, though, once you get those wonderful synergies lined up, and it can take you months to get there, don't get me wrong, it can take you absolutely months to get there. But once you get there and realize the really delicate art of managing resources in the perfect amount, then you start to see what you're capable of with the class. But, having said all that, I'm not going to pick the DK. I'm not going to do it. And it's for a reason that shouldn't stop anyone else from playing this. Woo! The reason is, I've done what I want to do with this DK. I've done what I want to do with this class. I've hit the targets I set myself, the goals I set myself. That is just disgusting. I tell you what I have noticed. After playing the DK for quite... I've sunk 7 hours into this class today. Because I hadn't really picked it up at all in Mists of Pandaria for the reasons I'm about to tell it. Ouch. That sucked. That sucked for everybody. That just sucked for all concerned. That sucked for all concerned. I haven't really picked up the DK at all in Mists of Pandaria for the reasons I'm about to say. Is I've done what I wanted to do with it. I've hit the goals I wanted to hit. And no matter how well I play in Warlords of Draenor, the best I'm going to achieve is just equaling what I've already done. And that's the sad fact about it. It's just the sadness that's inside me. Because I've had nothing but joy today. My DK couldn't get into the Siege of Orgrimmar. Hell, he barely done any. I think he done like one Throne of Thunder. And I just spent all day just rocking around with him. Rocked over to the time sale. Got some coins together so I could grab a little few items a little bit quicker. And generally, I've not had a boring moment all day. Not had a boring moment all day. Which is why I encourage you guys to go out and fucking try this thing. Just try it. You might not pick it up at first. Its resource management is easy at a basic level. It's so easy at a basic level. You've got one resource, it generates another one. You've got this pendulum swinging backwards and forwards. Really fluid, really nice, just going backwards and forwards all the goddamn time. And then you kind of ease into it. Like I say, it'll take you months to really nail down the little intricacies that make the class work. Many of you will pick it up and feel resource starved. Many of you will pick it up and feel like you've got too many resources and you're not really balancing them out correctly. And then eventually you just start to notice that disappears that little bit and it eases off, and then you start to go, I get it now. One other aspect of this class, guys, is I think a really solid way of grasping how well designed a class is, and it's something I've been looking at recently when observing classes and really considering them, is their talent trees. And you might be like, well, what the fuck's that going to do with it? If you look at the talent trees for DK, look how little they actually affect DPS comparatively to the other classes. They are so few and minor DPS increases, but they're wonderful. And that's a great thing because Blizzard is really happy with how these things work. They're so happy with how the DK works that they're not concerned with having to sort of squeeze talents in to make them work. To make this work. What they are doing is saying things like, this would be fun. I use Gorfi's Grasp almost on every single goddamn pack. All the time. And it really bothers me I don't see other DKs doing that. When I look at my glyphs and I see Tranquil Grip, a gift from the heavens of how good this is, of how useful it is, of how amazing it is just to have the ability to create death balls for your tank. I've had so many tanks congratulate me today just because they noticed that I was death gripping constantly. You pull some trash, there's that one range mob, that shaman or something that's healing in the distance, gripping him in. Mobs spread out, tank picks them up. Them erroneous hunters who just randomly charge into mobs and have learnt the power of aspects of the pack or the cheetah, they can get there quicker and start multi-shotting, but are still not learned the power of misdirect. And yeah, I can fix that for them. I stand on the tank, I throw down a Gorfi's Grasp, which is just, this is just one of the most incredible talents in the game for PvE. Its uses are endless. It saddens me that I just don't have a reason to invest time in it. And some of you will be like, Preacher, you've told us on many, many, many occasions you should play for fun. Well, there are other classes I have fun on. Probably some classes that I will find as much fun on as the DK. But as it stands, I can't do anything on this class but equal previous success at best. And that's not a goal I really want to set for myself. And it does sadden me that I didn't peak on this class too early. But what I certainly did was defeat any purpose to reinvest maximum time into it. It may come down to it that I just ultimately don't find another class as fun as this for me. Some of you will be saying, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's not that. Wow. Well, yeah, that's a thing. Go Army of the Dead. We shall not be defeated. Is he targeting anybody? He's taking damage, so yes he is. Oh, I'm tanking. Excellent. No worries, Icebound Fortitude, it's fine. It's really just, it's a sad situation. But what I want you to take away from this, what I want you to, if you take anything away from this, anything that I've told you, is give it a try. If you tried it out and you couldn't quite grasp it at first, or maybe some of you just don't like it. Maybe some of you don't like it. I would just encourage you just to throw yourself into some situations. Start using the gifts that Blizzard have given you, because all of these are gifts. You've got speed boosts, Anti-Magic Zone helping the raid, Gorfi's Grasp helping the raid on a short cooldown, Unholy Blight just making AoE that much more simple and that much more effective. Death Pact, you can't really die unless you're tanking the fucking boss by accident, because you've got so many ways of saving your ass. So many ways. And I got to show you what the level 90 boost LFR is like. Which for me is just, that's what makes it all worthwhile. It's my thoughts on the DK, guys. Please just, you know, give it a chance if you've not done it. If you're looking for a class that's just, it's going to take a little bit of effort to master, but you're not really going to suck balls if you don't master it. Give it a whirl, because I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I've yet to just be in a situation where my DK just wasn't up to the challenge, and just ready to fight and to stand toe-to-toe with any other member of the raid. As people are being benched, as people are being sat on their arse because they're not useful, my Death Knight has just stood proud, and he's gone, you know what, I can bring something to this fight. And in Mists of Pandaria, we've seen many encounters where DKs were almost crucial to the raid. You couldn't kill the boss without them in some occasions. What a fucking baller. An absolute baller. But probably not the one I'm going to choose, sadly. Have a good day, guys. I'll see you later. Bye.